Where'd you go?
She disappeared.
I guess I'm an influencer. Hey, I'm your host Alexis.
And I'm your co-host Truk.
Sit back and relax because you're
in good company.
Hey guys, so this week's episode is something that has kind of been in the works for a while, but we got further inspiration to do because of the election and everything that has, I suppose, come after it.
Mm-hmm.
So Truk, let the audience know because you kind of came up with this idea first.
Yeah, so today I wanted to discuss about the topic of Gen Z disconnecting a lot from social media. I noticed that this has been a trend recently with a lot of different young YouTubers coming up and making documentaries about, hey, I'm taking a break off of social media and these are, the results that I feel from it. I feel like a lot more focused. I feel a lot more calm. And, they kind of share their journey with taking a break off of social media. And it really does connect because I've been kind of on that sort of journey recently. I haven't really full send in, but that was my inspiration for this.
You know what's so funny, bruh? As you're talking, I'm like, what the heck is she talking about? I was thinking, no, let me say, I have seen those videos, but in my head, shows you different sides of the internet. I was referring to 100% like people disconnecting from TikTok, but you haven't been on TikTok in a minute.
Correct.
And I've seen a lot of people, specifically like black women, be like, y'all, we are tired. We don't want to be on this app, putting ourselves on the line time and time again, or just like, I guess even people of all backgrounds are like just taking in so much negative content specifically because of what is going on and watching the news, and it's like anxiety inducing, truly.
Having all this information thrown at you from all different angles is truly like overwhelming.
And I think it's so interesting because we're actually on like separate ends of it. Truk has been on a social media cleanse for like the whole summer until like now. Like we dropped our little episode on guys, dangers of social media, and she was off it the next week, and she says there's no correlation, but
here's the thing, like I say there's no correlation because yes, I'm off Instagram, period. But for other social medias such as TikTok, I'm on and off.
True, but we were talking about Instagram specifically.
Okay.
And I was spitting. It's true. Like, no, I like it for my girly pops. I look her up, her user. Where'd you go?
She disappeared.
I guess I'm an influencer.
I'm dead.
Anyways, I'm still on social media, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but I will say I have seen people being like disconnecting. I disconnected from everywhere but YouTube for about 6 hours, and I understand why people do it. I got the itch, though. I got the itch to be on TikTok.
Can I say that the itch is insane?
It's scary.
Every single person that like makes those kinds of videos about disconnecting talks about the itch.
It's like an addiction.
Me personally, I feel the itch where I don't have social media anymore. I offloaded those apps. Like I keep it there for work purposes, but it's like whenever I touch my phone, I'm like, oh, I need to get on this app. No, I don't. Why am I automatically going into these apps?
And it's bad because I use TikTok like Google now. I use like Google, so I'm like, I want to look it up on TikTok, and then I spiral, and then I'm seeing something I have no business seeing, and then it's in the back of my head, and I'm like, shuck, I should have stayed off this app. But I'm like, one more scroll, and then
it's always one more scroll.
Always.
It's difficult.
Always. But yeah, I was literally on freaking YouTube Shorts like a freaking iPad kid because I had to get my fix.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's almost like, to me, it feels like, when people who smoke are like, I have to have a nicotine patch, or I have to have something in between it. I can't go cold turkey. That's what it feels like, which is scary that something would have this much control over me.
It truly is an addiction, and I think it's real that we all recognize that it is. But like, what made you decide to still stay on? Because you know how I chose to stay off.
Yeah.
What kept you on?
Okay, so I tried to get off a few different times, but
Completely
I found
valid.
that there's a lot of communities on TikTok that I like being a part of that I don't have in my day-to-day life. So like, I was rewatching My Hero Academia which I enjoy, but like not a lot of my friends in real life don't enjoy it as much as me. So I want to go there to like see people's theories, and I want to see people like making edits or like drawings of my favorite characters. And I'm like, I can't get that anywhere else. Like it's sort of on Twitter, but it's harder to find. And Twitter is like,
And
it's
I
a
think
landscape.
Twitter is a whole different can of worms.
No, heavy
It
on
is
that.
not healthy to be on there.
Twitter is a
personally.
doomsday. Don't I doomsday.
I feel like I am so proud of my younger self deciding to not ever be on Twitter.
Honestly, the biggest thing I like about Twitter, and the reason I didn't have it for months, because I was like, I'm not downloading Elon Musk's freaking X, bro.
I'm dead.
And I was using like outdated Twitter until it stopped working. The reason I got back on was because I have a lot of artists I follow on Twitter, and they're like freaking Chinese, and I'm like, I can't get you don't have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
And I was like, I miss seeing their work. There's such good work for like the different fandoms I'm a part of that bring me such joy, and that sucks because I'm like,
It's really the community that's keeping you there.
I wish there was like a social media account just for fandom stuff, and no negativity.
It's funny because wasn't there, what is it called?
What?
Amino? Do you remember that?
Vaguely, but Amino was toxic.
Amino was, but originally that is what it was for. That
Really?
was when it was up and coming. Amino was advertised to be for the fans, just to see artwork, just to display theories.
That's crazy.
Just to have community.
I never knew that.
And then it became
Is
toxic.
Amino even a thing anymore?
No. I don't know. I never participated in it, but I heard the downfall. I heard the advertising.
That's so I'm actually mind blown right now. I had no idea. I guess it just eventually people get in who just want to ruin it. But yeah, I would say that's the main reason I find myself running back to it. Like I literally was just watching freaking Spider-Verse edits, bruh, the past days. I just wanted to go re-see it.
Coping mechanisms. I get
heavy on that. But also, it's like I'm scrolling amongst that and I'm seeing things that wasn't even in my search and it's freaking me out. Or like, it's not great. Like, I do need to like take a step back. I find though that I am on it less if I'm touching grass. Like if I touch grass, like I'm not on social media and I don't miss it.
Me too.
So as we said, I am still online. Truk is not online. Do you feel like you've seen any changes like in your concentration or your behavior, like any of that?
I just read a book.
Oh my goodness.
I am 2/3 through a book.
When's the last time you read a book before deleting social media?
During the pandemic.
Were you silent? Were you silent? Girl, that's 4 years. Almost 5.
I have never been a big book reader. I've been really into web comics, like, you know, webtoons,
yeah.
like the Korean comics, the Japanese comics, like manga. But it's like, that's for joy. That's still, you know, artistic consumption. And, you know, taking my time off of social media, I'm like, okay, I need to do something with my time. And because I'm still just off of it, I still find myself getting back on my phone to literally do nothing because I'm just so used to being on my phone.
That's so real.
So I'm like kind of weaning off at the moment.
Girl, you should never have updated your iPhone. You should have got yourself a little flip phone.
You right.
No, but then how would you use maps?
I need maps.
Yeah, a lot of people be talking about that.
Outside of your like focus deficiency,
yeah,
do you have you noticed emotional reactions to, you know, being online, physical reactions to being online? There's so many. I know definitely. You can answer that.
Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit. When I was a kid, I was on YouTube a lot, and I unfortunately fell into like true crime in like middle school, which was so bad for me because it got to the point where I was terrified to sleep. I was terrified of the dark simply because I remember telling my mom, I was like, how are you going to protect me from a kidnapper coming into I used to sleep. I remember in 6th grade, I slept with a baseball bat near my bed because I had worked myself up so much. I'm being so for real. Like, it's so bad. There was one story about a girl getting kidnapped in the middle of the night in her house, in her bed with her sister next. And I'm like, oh, heck to the no. And it's so bad. Now I actively stay away from all true crime because I cannot digest it in a normal way. Truk is gagged right now.
I quite literally am.
Nah, like it was traumatizing because I would just listen to story. I think it was for the first time in my life discovering just how vile people could be,
Mm.
and I was so young taking that, and I had no business. All I did was watch. I had no business watching as much true crime as I did, or just watching shows. I had like I remember this freaking I think it was Scream Queens, and with like Emma Roberts and all them, and there was like the devil, like there was a guy who had like a devil mask or a woman. I don't remember who the killer was going around killing people, and so then I started to get really scared that there was somebody hiding in my room. It was so bad. Like, it was so bad. I just started thinking the worst. Like, I already have like anxiety, but I just upped it to 100.
Media fully affects how you view reality.
No, it literally
100%.
did. And as a kid, I'm like, I know that people are capable of doing terrible things, and I know that it's unlikely, but it could happen. So it was bad. Like, I would tell my mom, I said, Mom, you have to check on me 3 times each night to make sure I'm still in my room. And she'd be like, I got you. And I used to ask her in the morning, I said, what time did you check up on me? How did I look? I'm so serious. Y'all, I was scared for my life. I used to be like to my little sister, say, can you please, but just, can you have a sleepover tonight? Please.
I'm guilty of that too, because instead of watching true crime, I decided to watch horror games when I was younger. And
No.
I was like, the spirits are gonna get me. Please sleep with me tonight.
Girl, I had that phase too where I said, how are you gonna protect me from things you can't see, Mom? Okay, they're playing in a whole different realm right now.
They're in the spirit realm.
Bruh, I swear, somebody was like, you know, the good angels are the ones that are ugly, and the evil angels are the ones that are pretty. There were some biblical lore, and I said, well, what if an angel just snatched me up? What would I do? I remember being stressed out at 11-year-olds thinking, what the heck am I gonna do? Like, my mama can't fight them off. Y'all, it was bad. Like, it was funny. Bad.
I get it though. Me too.
So I think I don't watch true crime anymore. And I was a kid, I couldn't even do horror movies, but I genuinely can't do horror movies because I work myself up and I get scared for my life. I'm about to unlock like hidden memories from my mother because I know she hasn't thought about this in like a good 10 years. But it would be like, you're what, in middle school at this point? Like, why are you still afraid? I used to tell the people, I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of what's in the dark.
Heavy.
So
I still stand by that statement.
Don't even play with me. I'm not gonna lie though, as a woman, all the true crime, it was right. Like, I had a right, like, not in my own home, obviously, but y'all, it's scary out here.
It is.
It's scary out here, and I will say that to me was like the most prevalent example in my life where it was like, this media is doing more harm than good. I don't know how people like can digest it casually and like go on about their day. I'm like, this sits with me. This is heavy.
To be fair, you were 11.
Yeah. Okay, when I was digesting a lot of this, it was middle school. By high school, I said, F that. I'm not watching none of it.
See, that's why a lot of like discourse online about Gen Z saying, oh, my kids are not getting internet because we grew up with internet and we know what it's
they
like.
They have no business having internet.
Yeah.
They have no business.
But no, truly, like, they were talking about how Gen Alpha is going to be, no, not Gen Alpha, Gen Beta? Sorry, I made that up. You made that up? It makes sense because it's like the Greek alphabet.
Oh my goodness. We can't
like
confirm
Alpha,
or deny
Beta,
that.
I don't know what goes after that.
Omega.
Anyways, the generation after generation Alpha is definitely going to be a little bit different.
Definitely. Y'all. And even I've seen people talk about like the media, there's like YouTube for kids, and
have you seen how they've been taking advantage of the algorithm on YouTube Kids? And
the shows that look like they're for children are actually like horror shows or like inappropriate. Trigger warning. There was a mother talking about how her son was coming into her night every night and just crying and saying, I love you, I love you. Come to find out, one of the shows he was watching was telling him to his mom, mind you, he's under 5 years old and he didn't want to do it, and that's why he was so distraught. It was telling him and his friends to walk into traffic. Like, it's scary. Mind you, they disguised it as a children's show. It's supposed to be vetted by YouTube, and it's not. So I just really feel like, parents used to be like, I don't want my kid watching this because it's going to teach them something bad. Now it's like, I don't want my kid watching this because it's going to tell them to do something insane. So, y'all, it's definitely just be mindful. Honestly, I wish I had been more mindful of what I was digesting as a child, but you don't know.
We didn't know back then.
And I'm not even going to blame my parents because my parents weren't fully aware. Like, I don't think they didn't grow up on the internet. So it wasn't like they were thinking.
They didn't know how to navigate that landscape the way that we know how to navigate that landscape.
Have y'all not?
So it's just completely different. But I just wanted to say, like, it all goes back to, like, everybody disconnecting nowadays because they see the effects that it has on themselves, their friends, their families. And I think it's time to take a big step back. I think it's
hard to have balance when you're hooked. I think my biggest thing is you do feel like FOMO because there's so many things that you only hear about online. I remember one of my favorite singers came to my city, posted on his story. I didn't follow him. He had a free concert. Whoop-de-whoop-de-doo. Then I'm like, well, now I feel like I need to be checking your story every day. Like, I'm pissed. And it's just like things like that. You disconnect, you miss out. You actively are involved and then you overdo it. So I don't know how to find the balance. That's something that I should work on. I know I should, but I find that it's so much easier to find balance when I'm not overwhelmed, overstressed out, because then I tend to like scroll.
Me too.
It's better when I'm like out of town. I'm with family. I'm with friends. I don't feel the need to be on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And even also like if you have a camera outside your phone, then it's like even less of like pulling your phone out and then seeing your notifications or whatever it may be. Like I find that I have a designated texting time. Y'all, I love y'all. If you text me and you're like, why does she only text back right in the morning or right in the evening? It's because I'm busy throughout the entirety of the day. Like y'all will not be getting me. Like I have designated I'm dead serious. I have designated texting times.
I believe you.
And it is rough. So I need to have designated times for everything else I'm doing. Honestly, when it comes to moderation is key. Like I have time limits on all my social media and I said 15 more minutes.
Time limits don't work for me.
Yeah, no, it's rough out here.
And that's why I had to delete everything because time limits don't work.
I honestly, December, January, you're going to be thriving.
I'm still getting updates in regards to like political news.
Yeah.
On like via email. I signed up for the New York Times.
Oh, that was smart. Don't they have like a paywall though?
They do, but they have their
Boo!
They do.
News should not be paywalled,
but they have their like daily newsletter, which is available via email. So I get emails.
Yeah, I know even Apple has like news, like a news app.
I think that's paywall.
I'll be reading their stuff.
Oh, really? Yeah. I've never used it because every time I do, I get a paywall.
Maybe I don't read enough. I don't know. News being paywalled is insane. That's scary. But anyway, as we're wrapping up on today's episode, we touched on a lot of great things. I hope this wasn't an anxiety-inducing episode for y'all. I feel like I uncovered some of my traumas I buried down.
Was not expecting the true crime.
But I forgot that even happened to me.
But it came out. It came out naturally.
Sure did. I will say, if anything, I hope this episode was something that you could reflect on and looking at your own habits and behaviors and be better than us. Please, I want better for you guys. But okay, let's see. I'm gonna do my little song recommendation. Said earlier in the episode, I've been hyperfixated on Spider-Verse content. So you have content, DM us. I'm being dead serious. DM me. My Instagram is in the bio of InGoodCompany. Please. Fan fictions, playlists, art. I'm trying to find art. Anyway, I have been listening to the whole soundtrack, but I cannot deny that the song Given Up is doing something to me, and the girlies who know, because the way they decided to drop the little audios from the movie in it,
I love sound bites into the music.
I love, and you'll love it too. So check it out if you haven't.
In the
and if
playlist.
and actually watch the movie if you haven't, because you're living under a rock, and it will make your life better. And then after you do that, listen to the soundtrack again.
Period.
Okay, with love.
So here is what I learned recently. So speaking on the whole social media cleanse and simply just being on your phone, I know a lot of people be doom scrolling at night, myself included, or at least used to, but now I'm off. But I wanted to say that I learned a little bit about sleep deprivation from Professor Santos from the Science of Wellbeing. She teaches the course at Yale. Have you heard that?
No, I was gonna say I am sleep deprived because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and then I'll be like, I have to read, and then I'll stay up reading, and then it'll be dawn.
Dang.
It's bad, guys. Even if you're not on your phone and you're doing it's some bad habit that to me feels more important than rest, which it isn't.
Rest is always going to be the most important. I recently took like a test, like a stress test on my body, and I realized that I am overly stressed.
How did you take that?
It was at an office that one of my previous coworkers worked with.
Okay, because you could have taken it with me and you could have paid me and I could have told you you were stressed. I could have just looked at you and known that.
Girl, my results were bad. I'll show you my results.
I want to see them.
But Dr. Lori Santos. Dr. Lori Santos from the Science of Wellbeing. She says that if you sleep 5 hours every day, you are considered sleep deprived.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm guilty of that.
I got 5 hours this night and the night before.
Doing 5 hours consistently does make you sleep deprived, and she was like, take better care of yourselves, guys. She knows that our age range and college students doom scroll, stay up to do coursework. It's a stressful time, and we're like, oh, we're young, doesn't matter, but it does in the long run.
Oh, I know it matters. Can I say, maybe teachers should assign less work?
I'm dead.
You know who I'm talking about. Maybe give me less work and I'll be in bed sooner, so then I'll be more active in your class. Okay? I feel like one thing that we have learned is the normalization of...
Because women work on a monthly clock. Men work on a daily clock.
Yeah, but it's basically the normalization of overworking yourself and engaging in terrible habits. Caffeine is a terrible habit. Social media is a terrible habit. Not getting enough rest is a terrible habit. Being overworked is terrible. And the fact that we are so
accustomed to it.
I would say collectively bad at managing the little time we feel like we have. I'm not Beyonce. My 24 hours is not hers. Okay? Okay. So I will say I'm hoping that as we come into the new year, that we are all finding the time to rest, especially students who have break coming up. And that is my takeaway, guys. Let's rest up as best we can.
But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode.
I want to say
give a shout out
to Bobby and shout out to the humanities
department.
Don't be messy! Don't be messy. Shout out to Bobby and shout out to the humanities department. We will see you guys next week. Bye.